Hello. Thank you for joining me. I externalize my studies of a book a week by sharing the passages that are most prominent to me, as well as my thoughts about the focus topics covered in the books. Today is my final day, reading from Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time. It's safe to say that Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time has been my most difficult read in 2018. Much of what a reader could come to understand on any given page in this book is highly dependent on their having understood everything on previous pages. While Stephen Hawking did an exemplary job at opening up the mind of a layman like myself to the elementary building blocks of theoretical physics, the way that those building blocks then must be constructed in order to open the reader's mind to more modern-day complicated theoretical physics is what was, for me, a very effortful and delicate cognitive balance. But I'd like to heartfully express that there is quite a reward for any reader who is willing to put the attention, time, and effort into understanding even a fraction of what is proposed in this book. It is nothing less than wondrous. I've bumped up against quite a dilemma in determining what to share in this book. I've noticed repeatedly that many of the passages that are most moving to me, I wouldn't understand in the least if I hadn't read the previous pages. As such, I've decided to share the passages that may open the most interest in the book because my fervent encouragement is to read the book in its entirety. Part of my effort moving forward will be to search, yes, for scholars in this field who have the intellectual capacity to continue the legacy of Stephen Hawking, but more specifically, the expressive talent to broaden the access to understanding theoretical physics such that our collective may begin to apply these principles more thoroughly to our experience of being human. Without further ado, I'll move toward today's readings. Enjoy.
Page 128. Stars converted some of the original hydrogen and helium into elements like carbon and oxygen, out of which we are made. The stars then exploded as supernovas, and their debris went to form other stars and planets, among them those of our solar system, which is about 5,000 million years old. The first 1,000 or 2,000 million years of the Earth's existence were too hot for the development of anything complicated. The remaining 3,000 million years or so have been taken up by the slow process of biological evolution, which has led from the simplest organisms to beings who are capable of measuring time back to the Big Bang. Page 137. The present state of the universe could have arisen from quite a large number of different initial configurations. This is important because it shows that the initial state of the part of the universe that we inhabit did not have to be chosen with great care. Page 146. With the success of scientific theories in describing events, most people have come to believe that God allows the universe to evolve according to a set of laws and does not intervene in the universe to break these laws. However, the laws do not tell us what the universe should have looked like when it started. It would still be up to God to wind up the clockwork and choose how to start it off. So long as the universe had a beginning, we could suppose it had a creator. But if the universe is really completely self-contained, having no boundary or edge, it would have neither beginning nor end. It would simply be. What place, then, for a creator? Page 147. When one tried to unify gravity with quantum mechanics, one had to introduce the idea of imaginary time. Imaginary time is indistinguishable from directions in space. If one can go north, one can turn around and head south. Equally, if one can go forward in imaginary time, one ought to be able to turn around and go backward. This means that there can be no important difference between the forward and backward directions of imaginary time. On the other hand, when one looks at real time, there's a very big difference between the forward and backward directions, as we all know. Where does this difference between the past and the future come from? Why do we remember the past, but not the future? Page 156. In order to survive, human beings have to consume food. which is an ordered form of energy, and converted into heat, which is a disordered form of energy. Thus, intelligent life could not exist in the contracting phase of the universe. This is the explanation of why we observe that the thermodynamic and cosmological arrows of time point in the same direction. It is not that the expansion of the universe causes disorder to increase. Rather, it is that the no boundary condition causes disorder to increase and the conditions to be suitable for intelligent life only in the expanding phase. The progress of the human race in understanding the universe has established a small corner of order in an increasingly disordered universe. If you remember every word in this book, your memory will have recorded about 2 million pieces of information. The order in your brain will have increased by about 2 million units. However, while you've been reading the book, you will have converted at least 1,000 calories of ordered energy in the form of food into disordered energy in the form of heat that you lose to the air around you by convection and sweat. This will increase the disorder of the universe by about 20 million units, or about 10 million times the increase in order in your brain. And that's if you remember everything in this book. Page 172. I still believe there are grounds for cautious optimism that we may now be near the end of the search for the ultimate laws of nature. Page 185. I think that there is a good chance that the study of the early universe and the requirements of mathematical consistency will lead us to a complete unified theory within the lifetime of some of us who are around today, always presuming we don't blow ourselves up first. Page 185. I think that there's a good chance that the study of the early universe and the requirements of mathematical consistency will lead us to a complete unified theory within the lifetime of some of us who are around today, always presuming we don't blow ourselves up first. I'm skipping down here. Only a few people can keep up with the rapidly advancing frontier of knowledge, and they have to devote their whole time to it and specialize in a small area. The rest of the population has little idea of the advances that are being made or the excitement they are generating. This will be the last passage I include in my readings today. It's on page 190. Even if there is only one possible unified theory, it is just a set of rules and equations. What is it that breathes fire into the equations and makes a universe for them to describe?